Neri Zilber in Tel Aviv. He's a journalist and adjunct fellow at the Washington Institute. Neri, what can you tell us about this Lion's Den group that Fatih talked about in his report? Is this a new Palestinian resistance group?
It is. It's a new militant group that came about sometime this summer. It's believed to be an ad hoc alliance between various individual militants and gunmen, primarily from the Fatah nationalist armed wing. And so it's believed to number perhaps 100 gunmen and militants, so not a large militant group. I think its calling card and why it's become so prominent in recent months and why it became the target of the Israeli raid overnight is precisely that it's become a brand. It's become a brand on the Palestinian street, apparently via social media, and the group itself and individual leaders and commanders of the group have become national heroes on the Palestinian street. In terms of operational capabilities, it's believed to be responsible for several shooting attacks against Israeli military officers and civilians in the northern West Bank. But beyond that, relative to other more well-established and powerful militant groups like Hamas or Islamic Jihad, nowhere near those capabilities.
Do you think these Israeli raids, which are targeting groups such as the Lion's Den, are actually lending to the rise of more resistance groups?
Well, that's the conundrum and the paradox. And I would argue the Israeli authorities and the military and the government are oftentimes playing with fire, going in very strong, as they see it, for real operational needs, counter-terror raids and arrests, and in certain instances, assassinations, is one thing, but the fallout that we've seen now over the past several months is a real danger in terms of overall stability in the West Bank and greater violence and bloodshed, not only on the Palestinian side, of course, but also on the Israeli side. We're now waiting to see what kind of response Lion's Den is able to mount after the overnight raid and the loss of life in that militant group. And also in broader Palestinian society, a general strike has been called today all across the West Bank. They're calling various militant groups on the Palestinian side, and the PA itself is calling for confrontations and clashes, a day of rage against Israeli forces in the West Bank at various checkpoints and friction points. So we have to wait and see how widespread that call is and how it's heeded by the wider Palestinian public.
Yeah, and I wanted to ask, is there a risk of this becoming more widespread, becoming a far more serious conflict?
That threat is always there. We haven't seen it quite yet over the past 7 or 8 months, as this fairly substantial Israeli operation in the West Bank has been ongoing. So the largest IDF Israeli military operation in the West Bank for many years. So far, the wider Palestinian public has not joined in to the unrest and the violence and the clashes, but that could easily change if further loss of life on the Palestinian side is evidenced.
All right, Neri Zilber joining us from Tel Aviv. Neri, thank you as always.